story starts in Greenwich, where we can still get a sense of the old Thames, meandering landscape where land met water and buildings rose straight from the river. It was here that the first Elizabeth was born, where her mother, Anne Boleyn, first set in motion the events that would lead to some of the most amazing spectacles that the river has ever seen. In 1533, Anne Boleyn was a new queen in a renewed country which had just broken its 1,000-year-old ties to the Roman Church. She'd married in secret and was already pregnant with Elizabeth, so Henry desperately needed to create popularity for his new bride amongst his mocking subjects. The river provided his answer. A huge procession of boats left Greenwich for Anne's coronation, decorated with sumptuous costumes. So fine were the barges that hundreds of years later the same design was used. No pictures survive, but this painting gives an idea of what the river procession was like. The boats were accompanied by the finest musicians and sounding off guns and cannon. They arrived at the tower with a great peal of bells. It was only then that she was carried through the streets of London in the traditional procession to become queen. Henry was to do this for 3 more wives, scrapping the coronation service in Westminster Abbey entirely. The river spectacle, centring on the dangerous passage under London Bridge, had become the new inauguration ceremony for royal wives. To get to Hampton Court in the 1500s, you would have to come by boat. In fact, Henry VIII was a commuter, travelling backwards and forwards to his palace in town. He even had a clock installed to show high and low tides. The entrance was right here on the river. A water gallery stood here, where they parked the royal barge, and visitors came inside through the garden. As roads and carriages got better, the main entrance to the palace was rebuilt, turning its best face away from the river. But one problem remained the same: controversial queens. In 1662, Charles II was facing a dilemma. His new queen, Catherine of Braganza, was being brought over from Portugal, but she was a Catholic and England was Protestant. A new queen, but a now familiar problem. Charles turned to the solution that had worked so well for Henry before him. The river pageant was back.